My name is Mauro Gallegati. I'm supposed to be an economist. I work in Ancona. Basically, my topic is financial fragility and economic fluctuation. Economics, in a way, is quite different from physics. So you can't pretend from economics the exact understanding of the system, so to speak, how banks will be affected by the failure of the system or whatever. What you can argue is that we would like to point out the criticality of the system. So in a way, it's very similar to earthquake. You can predict the zone of the earthquake, but you can't predict how and when and which town will be affected. My main interest has been, as I told you, the role of fluctuation and financial fragility. So in order to understand how financial fragility evolves in a system, you have to look at each individual agent and their interaction. So in a way, if I would say right now my main interest is trying to put in a network the agent-based analysis, so you can understand from an idiosyncratic point of view the evolution of a single agent, but in a general context. So we would like to understand systemic and individual risk. By individual risk, we mean the probability of a single agent, bank or firm going bankrupt because of idiosyncratic shock. It means individual shock. But then you can also fail, not because of you, but because of the connection you have. If you are a bank and the people you are lending money are going bankrupt, they will not give you back the credit and you will fail at the end. So the basic idea is that individual risk is just the risk of a single agent. Systemic risk is sort of meso or macro risk. We have two basic points. The first one is that we would like to point out the relevance of network and agent-based. And this is a sort of theoretical answer. So a new tool of analysis. The other question is related to economic policy. We don't think that the actual economic policy, the monetary policy, is the right one, just because they do not care about the systemic risk. They have just this individual risk approach. They treat, mainstream economics, treat aggregate as a summation of individuals. That's all. But if the aggregate is summation of individuals, then the systemic risk is simply the sum of the individual risk, which is not true. Data is very important in the sense that with this kind of approach, agent-based plus network, you can make sort of validation of the model you're doing at the individual level, at the meso level, and the aggregate level. So you can test the behavior of a single bank, a system of banks, and say the Italian banks as a whole. So data is quite important. Unfortunately, it's quite difficult to have data. Basically, the best data we have are Japanese data. I'm going now to Brazil to look for some data, but the problem is that the data we need are basically private data. So the possible outcome of the project from a practical point of view could be the collection of the data. I mean, we push the central bank or the authorities to collect data. And the second is the problem of the policy, the economic policy. How can you affect stability of the system?